So you all know I absolutely love reviewing gaming headsets, right? I review tons of them and I talk about them forever. You're like, dude, can you keep your videos under 20 minutes? I seriously just love talking headsets. Heck, I love talking tech. You know what I mean? But even talking headsets here, there's one question I still get asked, even as much as I dive into the headset in my main video. And that is, hey man, what is the best EQ setting for this headset? And that's what we're going to talk about today, is the best EQ setting for your headset. We have a pile of headsets here from each brand. We have Logitech, Razer, SteelSeries, Penrose, the Audeze, Turtle Beach, Astro. Now, of course, we don't have every headset here. We might not have that one Corsair headset that you have, but luckily, what we're talking about here is that core starting point of EQ setting. Because number one, sound is different for everybody. Definitely personal preference. You may want more bass, I may want more highs, or whatever, you know what I mean? So take this as that core starting point, tweak it there, save a profile here and there of each game, and then again, apply it that way, along with each different headset. If you got a different headset from that brand, if you got a different Logitech headset, still apply it to that headset and then just tweak it here and there, because this is, again, a great starting point. But again, you want to tweak it how you want. Speaking of tweaking it how you want, I'm also going to build on this platform right here. So we're talking core settings here, but I'm also going to implement this into a series when new games come out. I'll take our headsets, it might be different ones by then, but I'll take those headsets and talk about the best EQ setting for that game that's coming out. Like the new Battlefield that's coming out, the new Call of Duty, or a new Assassin's Creed, whatever it is, some game that I'm really into and really dabbling with and playing, I'll test the headsets, dabble with the EQ, and it'll be like a series, right? With these headsets, the best EQ for whatever game is out. So definitely subscribe and hit the bell if you're interested in those. Again, those will come throughout time whenever the game's released. But right now, again, we're talking about that core starting point, best EQ for your headset. Okay, so we're going to kick it off with the Astro A40s right here, but like I stated, this will work on multiple headsets, so you're going to be able to do the exact same thing on the A50s as well. By the way, we're plugged into the amp. As you see, you have presets over here. We don't want to use any of those. You have your EQ settings 1 through 4, which, by the way, will save to the amp, and you can take it plugged into your console after you set it on your PC or whatever. But anyways, we have our preset, our custom setup here, which you can create multiples here. As you see, starting from our bass, going up to our highs, we're set at 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as you're seeing, we have that wave, which you're going to see in a lot of these headsets here. Talking down here, we have our bass. Got it pulled up a little bit. The Astros are definitely a little bit of a warmer headset, a little fuller right there. Not hard hitting bass by any means, but again, it's just a little fuller in there, you know? So that's why I'm pulling out my highs, bringing my mids down just a pinch. Try to get rid of a little bit of that full closed in type sound right there, and I pull out my highs a little bit. So they're still not hitting, but you're still getting that immersion. You're still getting that great voice clarity or any of that detail, you know, enemies around the corner and stuff. You're really going to get it all here as far as story game, first-person shooter, music, or movies or anything. I really feel like this is a great starting point. But again, if the highs are too much for you, pull down that last bar. You want a little more bass, pull it up right there. Create this, again, as your starting point, and then create multiple profiles that you want to dabble with right there, because it can be changed right on the amp. But I really love this EQ setting on the Astros. Again, it kind of gets rid of that kind of closed in, a little bit too warm of a feeling right there. So again, this is the EQ setting I recommend on the A40s or A50s. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at Corsair. I have the Corsair Virtuoso XTs plugged in here, but again, like I keep stating, you can use it on multiple different headsets, the HS line or any of the SEs or whatever the Virtuosos out there. So again, you plug it in here and you dabble with your EQ. And let me tell you what, this really pulls out the Virtuoso headset. Big time. Out of the box, you're almost like flatlined right here. It's still sounding good, but it's flatlined. Get in here, tweak your EQ. Whew! It really, really comes out. It really does. Now, unfortunately, on the XT, you have to have IQ pulled up to dabble with this EQ, but it's still, like with the EQ, it just pulls it out even more, and it's stinking awesome. You're going to see that same wave right here, right? Starting from our bass, and we're going to go up to our highs here, okay? So we're seeing this, and our number is right there. So we have +5, +3, +2, +1, 0, +1, +2, +4, +6, and +8. So again, think of our high end right there, +8. Bass is down at +5. our mids right at the midpoint there, we left at 0. Okay, so what it's gonna do is kind of just pull out those highs again, give you that detail, that clarity, but you're still getting some punch back there, but it's not muddying anything out. You're catching that wave right here, right? A little bit drastic on the Astros right there because those were just straight out the box, a little bit warmer. But again, these guys, we pull it out like that and it really sets to it. But again, you can go in here and save it, create multiple profiles and everything. Of course, like I stated, IQ has to be open to be able to dabble with this here. The headset sounds great without it. But again, if you want to pull it out and get that next level, just really pull the headset out, I highly recommend this EQ right here is stinking awesome. But again, let this be your starting point. Tweak it how you like. So this is my recommended EQ setting for Corsair headsets. All right, so now we're taking a look at the Audeze, and we have the Penrose plugged in here, the wireless one. When you go into Mobius, I don't know if we can pull up the profile. Okay, we can pull up Mobius. But as you see, you just have sound profiles on Mobius. Flat, default, all that. You don't have an EQ adjuster there. But anyways, focus on the Penrose. You do have EQ adjustment. But as you see, I have them plugged in by USB because you need them plugged in by USB to be able to dabble with the EQ, not with the wireless dongle. And as you see right here, I have it flat, going straight across right there. I don't mess with the EQ on the Penrose. Out of the box, this headset is stinking phenomenal. It's that good. I tried dabbling with it. I tried tweaking it, and it's just, don't tweak with the EQ on this headset. Just don't. It's that stinking good. I'll chime in on the Mobius here as well because it's pretty much the same instance with those. Even the HyperX Orbit S, same thing because you use the same software on those. On these, when I go into the Mobius, you go to default and just leave it on default. That's it. That's it. Don't get in there dabbling with anything with your Mobius or your Penrose. That's okay. That's my opinion, right? I'm over here saying do this, do that. Of course, like I stated, it sounds personal preference, but with the Penrose and the Mobius out of the box, they are stinking fantastic. And again, I highly recommend you not messing with any of it. So Mobius, you want to put on default. Penrose, leave flat across the board. Okay, so now taking a look at Razer headsets, the ones I have plugged in are the BlackShark V2 Pros. And we're going to start with is Mixer right here. As you see, I don't have anything set on. And by the way, as far as any of these headsets we're talking about, you don't really dabble with that 7.1. You don't really tweak it too much because you're going to put sound morphing on top of your EQ, right? We love the sound of the headset, not these funky little effects that are going to dabble with the sound. So again, don't mess with the THX unless, of course, if it's something that you like, you can use it. I don't use it in any of them. So we're going to slide right over to enhancements. Okay, bass boost I have off, but I do occasionally use it. Outriders was a game I recently played, and I loved bass boost on. Sound normalization is something I enjoy just because it pulls out a little bit of the Christmas, a little bit more Christmas. Just pulls out a detail, right? Battlefield, you got grass. It's going to pull out those highs. Those reload sounds are going to be a little more potent. Little sounds like that. Uniform, grass, reloads, stuff like that is going to be a little bit more detailed. And me personally, I like that. Voice clarity, I don't use because it's going to drop your bass, pull out your highs, and it sounds horrible. So again, we're going to put sound normalization. We leave it on 50. It really doesn't mess with it too much, whichever way you crank it. But again, coming over to our EQ setting right here. Starting off, again, from our bass, going up to our highs. You all know I said the BlackShark is a little bit more bass full, a little more mid-heavy, kind of like the Astros. Not as bad as the Astros, but again, there's a little bit more bass in it right there. So we're going to start with our bass. We're cranking a little bit to 2, right? Coming down to 1, 0, 0, 0. Again, we're kind of leaving those mids a little bit flatlined right there, right? Then we're going to start peaking up into our highs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Now you can crank these up a little bit more if you want. I personally used to keep them cranked up a little bit more, the highs, the back end right there. But I've been coming around a little bit more, wanting a little bit, I don't want to say warmer sound, but I've been wanting to just experience my bass. I've been playing a lot of story games. My main FPS games have really been Rainbow Six. I haven't really been dabbling with much Call of Duty lately. When I play Call of Duty, I will pull out my highs a lot more. But Rainbow Six, it's such a high-pitched game. I pull out a little more bass and drop my highs a bit. But this right here, still, I've been listening to a lot of music. I've been using the BlackSharks a lot lately. Playing Rainbow Six, listening to music, videos, all sorts of stuff, right? I've been using these a lot. And I absolutely love this EQ here. It's great for any situation. Again, it's not screechy, not too much bass. Really nice, again, in story games or anything. And again, start with this EQ and then dabble over here with bass boost and sound normalization. Maybe click it on and off, get around, adjust it. Get around and adjust it, and then come over to the EQ and start dabbling with it. Because once you start moving all these sliders around, you're going to be like, now what am I doing, right? So again, set your EQ, what we said right there. Go back and get those numbers, and then dabble with some of the bass boost and sound normalization, because you're going to have a lot of fun with this headset. Now, side note, as you see, I got the bass drop. When you pull this headset and you start getting like above 6 on the bass on your lower end sliders over here, you're going to almost lose them, right? It becomes a little bit too muddy. So I recommend you maybe 3 or 4 tops on your bass and then curve around there. Personal preference, just something I have noticed dabbling with it. But all in all, this is the EQ setting I like on my Razer headsets. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about Logitech headsets. I have the Logitech Gpro plugged in, the wired one, but again, like I stated, this will work on multiple other ones, the wireless, the Gpro X, heck, any other Logitech headset that plugs into USB that you can take advantage of the software, just along with every other headset, right? You guys are probably like, dude, you already told us 5 times. But anyways, talking about the Logitech Gpro plugged into here, dabbling with this EQ, it's gonna look very similar to Astro's. I pull our low end, we go 5, 3, 2, 5, 8. So I still pull out my bass and I pull out my highs a lot. This headset has a nice hitting bass. It really does. It's not like subtle down, kind of like that muddy bass. It's a nice punchy bass. And when you pull it out a little bit, it's just a little more full. You kind of, let them act together. You got your bass up here at 5, your highs up here at 8. So again, you just kind of pull it out a little bit more and it brings this headset to life. Wow, is it fun to use. It really is. Again, you're just kind of pulling out the bass core of the headset out a little bit more and letting everything shine with you. Again, your treble coming in, your highs coming into 8 right there, and still pulling out your bass, letting your mids drop right down here to 2, just hiding back to doing its thing. And it really shines. This is great. Just leaving this is like fantastic on this headset. It just pulls it out, makes it shine. Again, any situation. This is a very awesome setting. Again, you're kind of seeing that traditional curve going across these, but I love this headset. If it wasn't for the comfort, I'm drifting off here, right? But again, the EQ on this right here, you got to give this one a shot. Really awesome. All right, so now for SteelSeries in the Arctis Pros. We have the wired DAC version here. This is going to work again on the wireless version, the 7s, the 9s, all of them, but the software is going to be a little bit different. And this is why I pulled out the wired version here. As you see, we have all of these bars down here. I believe on the Pros, if I'm thinking right, or the Pro wireless, I believe you have 7 bars or 6 bars, something. And then when you go to the 7s and the 5s, I believe you have 5. Don't hold me to that. But anyways, I pulled out the Pro wired version here because, again, we have so much more to dabble with. And by the way, you can tweak this on the DAC amp here. Same with on the wireless version. So anyways, as you see, we got that curve. We got quite a drastic wave here. The Arctis lines are known to be more potent in the highs, which is one of the things I really love about them. They're not really full in the bass end. Great for competitive games, I really think, because again, you have a really nice headphone sound with these, not sounding like a gaming headset. But anyways, talk about our EQ curve. 5, 3.4, 2.2, 1.9, 1.4, 2.1, 3.2, 4.2, 5.5, and 7. Wow, they make it confusing with those points. I should have rounded these out for you guys, you know what I mean? It just made it easier. But again, I don't really look at the numbers when I dabble with my EQs on any of these headsets. I do not look at the numbers. I get in there and I play round to round to round, or I'll even get into solo matches and just fire weapons, and I tweak it as I go, right? I don't try to adjust every bar per round. I get in and just tweak it. So that's why you're seeing these really crazy and off. Again, here they are right there. Wow, SteelSeries, make this a little bit easier for us, I guess, heck, you got the options to dial it in what you want. But as you can see, my bass is quite high on this. Right on our highs, our trebles around 7, and our bass is at 5. Again, talking about these guys not really having much bass, I pull it out a little bit more to get a little bit of it in there. Now, you're also noticing up here, I have 7.1 surround sound on. As I stated earlier, don't activate it, don't mess with it. I'm going to take that back on the Arctis here because they don't really tweak with the sound and make it echoey and sound horrible, like pull your bass down and pull your highs up. They don't do that. I fire on a 7.1. I put my surround profile into studio. It's just going to make it a little bit clearer. Stereo profile default. Bass enhancement high. Dialogue enhancement low. You kind of catching the vibe right there? So we're pulling out that studio sound with these guys having those high-res drivers and everything. And then our bass enhancement, we have high. So again, we're going to pull out that bass a little bit more. Dialogue on low, so you're still going to counter that bass enhancement with the highs, because dialogue's going to be your highs right there. So again, you're counteracting those right there. It's just going to pull the headset out and make it shine that much more. And again, that goes with all the other headsets too. So dabble with it right there. This is kind of your starting point again. Tweak it as you like. But with the Pro wired, it is stinking fantastic. But again, going back to like the 7s or the Pro wireless, you don't have this many settings in there. But still, you're going to take that same wave right there and then tweak as you go. And it's really going to make the Arctis line of headsets shine. Okay, so for the last headset we have is the Turtle Beach Recon 700 Gen 2s. Now, Turtle Beach, they're a little washy with theirs, right? Like some headsets have software, some of them go through the Bluetooth to your phone or whatnot, and some of them go through an amp DAC. So, little wishy-washy. I feel like the majority of the ones that a lot of us are going to be using are going to be taking advantage of the app. And that's what we have pulled up right here, right? So once you pair it up to your phone via Bluetooth, you have a lot of options to dabble with your buttons where you can cycle your EQs through from there and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into, hopefully you guys can catch this right here. You see right over here, it says game presets. So we're going to dive in there, go in, and then you have all of these options. Hopefully it's focusing on it. So you have some presets and then you have custom. We want to go into custom. What you do is you go in there, you just hold it down. Well, let me look at it here. Okay, so we hold it down and then we get into these settings. Now you don't have a ton of sliders right here. You just have those basic few sliders, and that is the setting I use. Now with Turtle Beach, it's a great headset right out of the box. I love the sound. Again, talking about 700 Gen 2s, I really like them. But if you want to just make them, again, pull out that volume, pull out that detail a little bit more, this right here does it. Again, as you can see, it's the same thing. Our treble's peaking, our bass is a little bit up there, and then our dialogue's pulled up again. Here's another shot of it as well. And again, it's just a really nice balanced profile to really just pull the headset out and again kind of increase the punch that it already has. You're kind of sticking with that same sound profile, you're just pulling it out a little bit more. And that's why I really like this here. We're not really dabbling or making anything crazy. You're just making that stock good sound that it has and pulling it out a little bit more. Now backtracking a little bit here, I do not use superhuman hearing. I think it's gimmicky. I think it's just like 7.1 on the other headsets, and I don't like it. It's going to make your headsets real screechy in the highs. Okay, so hopefully that helped you out with some of those headsets. I know I stated it many times throughout the entire video, but don't take this as, hey, this is only going to work on the Virtuoso, or hey, this is only going to work on the Arctis Pros. Again, this EQ setting here is going to work on multiple headsets. Some may have a 50mm, some may have a 40mm driver with a bigger frequency range. Still start with this initial wave we have, and then dabble with it from there. Really tweak it up. This is a great starting point for multiple games, multiple styles of headsets. I pretty much use this as my primary on many games. Unless, again, I want to pull something out a little bit more, I'll create that different profile right there. And like I stated, I show this in pretty much all of my headset videos if it has the software or if it can take advantage of it. So make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, or watch some of them other videos if you want a little bit more deeper dive per headset. Because if a headset takes advantage of it, I do show it. I might not talk about it as much, but I do show it in there. But also, like I stated earlier, I'm going to keep this type of series rolling. And with any new games, not every game, but hot new games that are going to be coming out, I will be talking about the EQs for the hot headsets. And again, that bass platform to start with a good EQ for that game. Again, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and whatever other good ones come out there. So I hope to see you around for those as well. And I really hope this helped you out. I get asked this question so much, you know, and it's something I really enjoy talking about. I just, as you can see, I'm still talking here, even though we're done with the video. You know what I mean? But again, hopefully this was able to help you out. If you got any other questions, if there's like a certain game you're playing, ask down in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter at the Techne1 or whatever, you know. I'm glad to talk shop right there. I love talking headsets. So again, thank you so much for stopping by for this one. It was a stinking blast. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I helped you out. If I was able to, hit that thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for some future tech videos. Hey, I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye now.